Hi guys, welcome to my channel. As you guys already knew about the video topic by the title. This video is all about what if Goku was in high school DxD. Now let's begin. It's been years since that battle with the hardest opponent yet, and his name was Majin Buu. No, it was not the fat Buu, but the smallest and powerful Majin Buu. It all started at the World Martial Arts Tournament. The Supreme Kai and Kibitio and asked for the Z fighter help against the wizard Babadai from releasing Majin Buu. When arriving at the wizard's hideout, Babadai had taken control of Vegeta. Although he had let him take control of him. When leaving the hideout, Goku had to fight the Majin Vegeta. Goku had held back much of his power to knock some sense into Vegeta. He finally did, but was knocked out before he can help his Saiyan friend. When sensing that his friend passed away, he can feel grief from losing a close friend as best as he can be. Goten and Trunks has taken the chance to fight the Majin when using the fusion technique. Before leaving to find Gohan, he taught them how to achieve the third level. Goku had finally found Gohan, and turns out he was alive the whole time. He found his son when using the instant transmission. He will use technique in this fanfic, and personally I think it's faster than the second and fourth Hokage from the anime Naruto, to see that his son was undergoing the Kai training. He helped his son with the legendary Z sword. The both of them tested the Z sword's strength, but they broke the mighty sword. After finally getting over the incident, something happened. The eldest Kai has appeared and also helped with the training. Soon after training with the Kais, Gohan and mastered his potential greater than his level 2 transformation. Kibito Kai had transported Gohan to test his power against the fierce Majin Buu. Gohan appeared to have the upper hand in the fight. Majin Buu was smarter than he let on. He mocked the youngest Saiyans into fusion, then absorbing him. Majin Buu and Gohan were evenly matched in power, but Majin Buu was a little faster than his opponent. After having enough with this one-sided battle, he went to the battlefield with the eldest Kai, giving him a life. Goku had the Kai's earrings to use the fusion with Gohan, but Majin Buu absorbed Gohan before he can get to use it. Vegeta had been given a life for this kind of circumstances, so he can use the earrings with him. Vegeta was pissed off when learning that Goku has holding back in their fight. After finally agreeing to the earrings, they fused in the warrior Vegeto. Vegeto had been absorbed into the monster Majin Buu. When looking around in the body, they found that Gohan, Goten, Trunks, and Piccolo were not dead, but in something that they called people pods due to Goku's innocent mind for a man-child at times. When looking for a way out, they found the original Majin Buu in a people pod. When reading his mind, they found out that originally there was two Majin Buus, a good one and a bad one. Vegeta and Goku had escaped the body of Majin Buu when taking away the people pods, the source of his power. The giant Majin Buu then turned into the original Buu, the one that had given even the Supreme Kai flashbacks of when he wasn't the original Supreme Kai, that stating this Majin Buu was cold-hearted monster with no remorse. Goku and Vegeta then transported there, and they knew that if they gathered enough energy, Majin Buu would come to them. And so he did. Majin Buu came to the Kai planet. Vegeta and Goku wondered who would fight Majin Buu first. They had used rock paper scissors to decide, and Goku had won the little contest. Goku had used the second level to fight the monster. That wasn't enough, so he used the next level to fight him. The fight had taken a lot of Goku's strength. Vegeta then traded fights so that Goku can get his strength back. Vegeta couldn't use the second level due to being revived before he can get his full power. Majin Buu had decided to have fun with this weakling, seeing that this man is no even near his own strength. What he didn't notice was Goku was gathering energy around the universe to use the spirit bomb. After gathering the key needed, he launched the spirit bomb. Goku had won, but Majin had gathered enough power to send him to another world, while the blast had destroyed his universe. Remember this DBZ to GT, meaning no god power and bills. Goku had woken up in another world similar to his own world. He found out that he was in a city similar to West City. He found a mirror so that he can see that he has changed to his younger age from defeated Piccolo at the World Martial Arts Tournament. He also found out that he has his tail back and his grandfather's magic power pole had followed him to the new world. He also found that he had needed to find a tailor to fix his GI. He had found a tailor and he was an old man that liked this young man and he was really respected him and gave the fixing for free. As Goku wandered about in the town, he has to find a job in the city. He found out they're hiring male hosts in their club. The manager was a beautiful woman that has blonde hair and the most noticeable feature was her buxom figure, and he thought she was polite girl that would be described as an airhead. She told him that he can come to work tomorrow for his shift. As looking for a place to stay, he found an apartment to rent for free. The reason he got it for free so that the landlady can actually talk to someone to her. After looking around in his apartment, he found out that he has a small room with a TV, a bed, and restroom. Before turning in for the night, he had to check his current power level. He went in the alley that was behind the apartment building and saw that there wasn't anyone around here. He flew into the sky, then clutched his hands and gathered his power. The clouds gathered around the sky and the lighting came around him. With a mighty roar he released his power. The power was then felt everywhere that can sense the huge amount of power. DxD Academy. There in this academy was filled with heirs of the devils. One of which with beautiful red hair, blue, green eyes and has a fabulous figure. She is wearing her school uniform, which is white long-sleeved, button-down shirt with a black ribbon on her shirt collar, and a black shoulder cape and a matching corset, a magenta skirt, white crew-length socks, and brown dress shoes to finish it off her outfit. There is another woman next to her with the same uniform that the other girl has, but she has violet eyes, black hair in a ponytail with an orange ribbon to hold it. The two girls nodded with a silent conversation, knowing what they had to do. Fallen Angel location. One man had felt the new wave of energy. The energy had the potential to surpass the two heavenly dragons. This man is in his 20s that has black hair, golden bangs, and a black goatee. He has a smirk on his face, wondering whoever, because this has his own interest in this new type of power. Heaven. Two powerful angels have both felt this power. These are considered the seraph angels that watch over the Christian faith of God. The power they both felt had reminded them of their original Lord. For this the mystery person has sparked their interest. Back to Goku. Goku had transformed to the first level of the legendary Super Saiyan. This power came for him when his best friend Krillin had died. His body had changed when powering up. He now has blonde hair and teal blue eyes that made him look serious at the situation when needed. He powered down and assessed his power level. "Ah man, I can only go level and that's it," said Goku sadly. He returned to his apartment and grabbed his power pole. He was glad he has something from his original world. And with that he went to go sleep and hoped to find a good education for him. End notes. Okay, I hope you liked the prologue. As you can guess, I used some of the original canon from DBZ. First, I would like to address that he will not go into God form like the new movie. Second, I would like to mention that I'm guy that doesn't know girls' clothes. Next, Goku and Issei will have a harem. Now which you are about to read is the harem for our two protagonists. Goku, Rias, Akeno, Kurika, Sirafal, Gabriel, Zenovia, Ravel, Yasaka, Katara, Offis, and Seek Varia. Issei, Irina, Valeria, Asia, and Lilith. Goku had finally woken up and was ready for looking for an education. Goku got ready and looked all over the city for a good education. When interviewing people, they looked at his clothes and thought it was unusual to see a GI. Goku had asked them for a good school for him. They said to check out an academy called DxD Academy. With that in mind, he then tried to find a job that has good pay. As it turns out that there was a cafe couple blocks away from his new academy. When getting there, the women well over heels for the man. From what they saw, the young man appeared to be 17. He was tall, had spiky black hair, black eyes, and had on an orange, red and blue GI on him. They could tell that he works out a lot because his muscles can be seen from the GI. The women had blushes on their faces see him. They hoped that he would apply here. He would make a handsome host here. Goku had tried to find the manager for this cafe. It turns out the manager was a woman. She was really beautiful, that had buxom figure with her large breasts. She had blonde hair and the cutest blue eyes. Goku had applied for the job here and was accepted. The manager said to come around in the late afternoon. Before he left, she given his uniform for his job. The uniform was a normal butler outfit. Although Goku then changed the white undershirt for his regular blue undershirt for his new uniform. Goku then went to the Kaoru's Academy office for registration. He then remembered that some of the people he asked that it was an all-girl academy. The academy was then turned into a co-ed academy recently. When getting there, he asked the secretary for the papers. She then gave the papers for him. He filled all the work, and for his guardian he put his grandfather's and his son's name. Gohan. The secretary went over the paperwork and signed off, seeing the information was correct. She had given him the male's uniform for this academy. The uniform was really uncomfortable for his taste. This made him remind him of the time of Gohan's interview before he left to find the legendary Super Saiyan, Broly. Though in time he will get used to like his GI. She told him that he would be a second year, then told him where to go. Goku walked through the campus to find his homeroom. When walking around, he heard the students say weird stuff. The guys were damn not another Prince Charming or here comes another pretty boy like the other guy. The girls were another Prince Charming, I'm happy to be here, or Kaya I hope he notices me and makes me his girlfriend. From hearing them he automatically thought that these students were weird. He then looked up in the window to see two young women staring at him with high interest. One of them had long red hair, blue-green eyes, and a fabulous figure with large breasts. The other girl had long black hair in a ponytail while having an orange ribbon, deep purple eyes. She had a nice figure when her breasts are larger than the red head. He just continued on with giving them his usual sun grin. The grin caused all the females that saw them had blushes on their faces. They thought the grin had made him more handsome than ever. The guys were giving him death glares to the young Saiyan for the attention of the great Oni-samas here at the academy. Do you know who that was, Akeno? Asked the redhead curiously. From what I can understand, his name is Son Goku Baku, said the now named Akeno. Son Goku, you are surely interesting, said Rias. Era is Baku getting a crush on the new student, teased Akeno. Maybe, but I couldn't help but saw you eyeing the new student yourself, Akeno, accused the redhead. Era I was caught red-handed, Rias, said Akeno. Rias sighed at her friend's teasing of her. She couldn't help but feel that he will be needed for later in her life. Both Rias and Akeno went for their own homerooms, for they knew school was now starting. Goku finally found his homeroom and knocked. The door opened and came out was a middle-aged man that he presumed was the teacher of the class. Ah, so you are the new student that just came in, he said. Goku nodded in confirmation. All right. Then so go introduce yourself for the class, he said, pointing to the rest of the class. Hi there, my name is Son Goku, I just transferred, please take care of me, he said while flashing his famous sun grin. The girls were cheering due to the face that there was another prince just like Kiba. The guys were groaning to the fact that the new guy was getting all the attention. After quieting the class down, the teacher told him where to sit next to a boy named Issei Hyudu. Issei Hyudu was known as one of the perverts of the academy. His other friends were named Matsuda and Motohama. When the three are together they are called the infamous perverted trio. Matsuda was nicknamed Perverted Baldy due to his appearance. Motohama was also nicknamed Perverted Glasses for when seeing a girl knows her three sizes. Throughout campus they were despised by all the girl student. They would peep on some of the girls' clubs and would get a beating. Usually they were caught by the kendo club and they would get a first-hand experience in their skills. When Issei raised his hand, Goku had saw his new classmate's appearance. Issei had on the male academy's uniform but had a darker red blazer. He had short brown hair and brown eyes that was similar to his hair. Issei couldn't help but envy the new guy that he was sort of a bodybuilder. Goku then sat to the right of him. The girls whispered if one of the perverts then turned the new guy into one of them. After class was over, Goku then tried to find the academy's cafeteria. Goku had found it, got his light snack as he called it. The food he gathered was considered food for 5 people. The people watched in interest seeing the new guy get his food. Before sitting down he felt stares similar to the ones he got earlier in the morning. He turned to see young women staring at him. One of them has long black hair to her knees. She was wearing the academy's uniform just like the girl next to her. She has light brown eyes and has blue semicircle glasses. The other girl has black hair in a bob cut. Her eyes were light violet eyes with black glasses that was different comparing to the other girls. He gave them a grin before eating his light snack. The people around him were wide-eyed and jaw-dropped when seeing him eating. They all wondered where he keeps all the food. Not to mention if he's even human at all. After leaving the cafeteria, everyone went back to what they were doing. But unknown to Goku, he had caught the attention of other girls here at the academy. The pair then left to talk with one of their friends here to discuss the new student on campus. As soon as Goku left his final campus, he was approached by one of the cutest girls on campus. She was petite with short white hair and has hazel eyes. She then told him that her bucko had requested that he would come with her to meet her. He kindly denied the request, saying he can come over tomorrow. She accepted his response and then left. Goku finally went back to his apartment. He then got on his uniform. He dressed like another butler would, but he changed the white undershirt for his own. Goku decided to use instant transmission to get there faster, and appeared right beside his boss. She gave a yelp of surprise when seeing him. Goku-kun, I didn't even hear you came in, she said. He had think something faster. Right, sorry about that, I get that a lot, he lied. Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't introduced myself properly, my name is Lizette, she said. When she him in the uniform, she blushed at his appearance. Goku then saw that he was the only butler here. The only guys here was the customers. They were with their dates or just by themselves. The women were blushing seeing him in his uniform. As the day continued on, he was requested by the lone females to talk with him. The women either tried seductively to get him to come after work or try to feel his muscles. On some occasions it was both. The manager was glaring at the customers that were trying to take away her favorite human. Lizette wasn't all she appears to be, for she is to be considered a Tsukumagami. She couldn't help but feel affectionate for her new employee. Lizette thought it was his personality that made her fall for him. As the day continued, Lizette learned a little bit about himself. That he was raised in the forest by his grandfather. That he doesn't know who his father is. She couldn't help but feel ashamed that she asked that question. He assured her that it was all right for her. She just fell over heels for him. As Goku said goodbye, Lizette knew somewhere in her heart that she loved him for who he was. And that she hoped that in time she would tell her feelings of him soon. In another side of her knew she would be too affectionate for him. Goku left the only he thought was cool, instant transmission. He went to sleep knowing that he still remembered that request from earlier. Goku got ready for the academy. When he arrived at the academy, it was basically like the first day he came here. The girls will always be flirting with him while the guys muttered the death of him. He already died already, so it didn't really bother him as much. When he was in his class, someone had entered. He was handsome in the girls' eyes. He has short blonde hair and gray eyes. His name was Kibayuto and was known as the Prince of Kyuado for him being so nice to the females on campus. He was known to be in the occult research club at the academy. The girls in the class couldn't decide to root for Goku-sama or Kiba-sama. Hello, I'm looking for Goku-kun and Issei-kun, my bucko has requested to see them, asked Kiba. Both of them stand up and followed him to his club's classroom. They both went inside the room to see two familiar girls that they both knew. Era, I'm pleased to see you two here, said the girl with the black hair. The other girl was eating candy without even looking at them. They can both hear water that was coming from a faucet in a smaller room in here. What comes out of the room was a beautiful young woman that they both were familiar to. "So you two came then, right?" asked Rias. They both nodded in confirmation. "So are you two familiar with the supernatural?" asked Rias. Again they nodded. "Do you remember your girlfriend Issei?" asked Rias. He shuddered at the mere thought of her. He remembered the first time he was approached by her. She at the time was called Yuma and she was his first girlfriend. After their first date he was pierced by a light spear. He was nearly dead, but he summoned Rias that he remember was a devil. In all purposes he now knows that the supernatural is now real as it can gets. Well, Goku was another story in his case of lifestyle. When he first died he was taught by King Kai of his race. He then fought all over the galaxy and fought many fighters that was considered supernatural. That girl that you meet was a fallen angel, for those are angels that have fallen from grace. They were once a war that every angel, fallen angel, and devil had fought, and this was called the Great War. After the Great War there was a treaty that ended it for now. Although there were skirmishes throughout the many years of the factions. Then the Devil Civil War happened and there were two factions. The ANIT Satan faction and the Old Satan faction, she said. The first faction I first mentioned was made of those who wanted to change the government. The other was to keep the current state of government. The original four great Satans were consisted of Lucifer, Leviathan, Beelzebub, and Asmodeus had died. And the most powerful devils in the underworld took the positions of them to lead us after the Civil War. As such, the current Beelzebub found a way to fill back our population through evil pieces, she concluded. After that Rias pulled out a chess piece, but it wasn't ordinary chess piece. Goku then learned inside that piece held a lot of magic. "This is how I revived you, Issei, through the evil pieces, and you cost all of my pawns for reincarnation," she said. Issei went eye-wide at the mirror though. "As such you are considered to have a sacred gear. Sacred gears are powerful tools that choose their own hosts to inhabit, and you are one of those," she said. "In fact Kiba here has his own sacred gear, don't you Kiba?" asked Rias in confirmation. Kiba nodded, "Yes, I do have my own sacred gear. Called sword birth, meaning I can create all kind of swords. For an example, Kiba pulled a knight-looking sword from the ground. Both of them were impressed from the display of his own sacred gear and wondered how he got his sacred gear. With that being said, I would like to reintroduce ourselves, seeing is how to show our trust, Rias said. So you know my friend Akeno Hime, for she is my queen, she said. Akeno gave a formal bow and gave her response. Era, please treat me well, Issei-san. Goku-kun, Akeno said. Rias then pointed to her knight Kiba for his turn. Hello, my name is Kiba Uto, I hope we get along, Issei-kun. Goku-kun, he said. And finally Rias then pointed to her rook for her turn to speak. Hi, my name is Konako Tujao, please treat me well, Issei-senpai. Goku-senpai, she said softly. And together we are devils and you can do this to Issei, she said. Everyone but Issei and Goku had devil-looking wings on their backs. Issei then felt a weird sensation on his back he never felt before. He turned around, saw that he has similar wings to the rest of the club. Goku was surprised when seeing the wings. As he fought many opponents, these wings were different. Rias then turned to Goku and asked an important question that would change his life forever. Son Goku, would you like to join the devil faction? Goku thought he didn't hear that correctly. Did she just say did he, son Goku, become a devil? Actually he wondered what perks for fighting for the devils was in this dimension. He would really fight strong opponents. His body would be tested to his limits to expand his power. He was actually thinking like Vegeta would in this situation. He knew what would happen, at least this what he thinks. He will be turned into battle-hardened slave ready to his owner's will. So what you are asking, if you want me to be your slave then, is that? Asked Goku with a hint of venom in his voice. Rias went wide-eyed at his comment and then thought about it. The Gremory was known to be affectionate with their servants forever. Although Goku doesn't know that entirely, being the fact that he is not a devil to know them. No, that isn't what I meant, Goku, it's not like that, Ria said, but nearly yelled. Goku then did the skill he did with Trunks when he first met back in his own dimension and found out that she was telling the truth. She doesn't want to be a cruel master from what he can understand. Can I just think about your offer for a while? Asked Goku. Rias nodded in understanding, for in this situation how many humans would think of going to be a devil. Although she doesn't truly know of Goku's history and powers. Goku then nodded and left without his instant transmission technique. He needed to keep the appearance that he was human and nothing else. Or otherwise these devils would ask too many questions for his taste. After leaving the club, Rias wondered if she pushed her luck with this new student. When Goku left after his last class, he saw that it was time for him to go to his job. Goku then felt that someone was watching him. And he saw a glimpse of white hair and weird energy from what he felt. It was the girl back in club when he met Rias and the rest of the so-called devils. When feeling the power out, it somewhat reminded him of a Nico, a cat for those who don't know. If he remembered from the Cower Academy's rumors, the girl's name was Konako. Apparently the boys call her the Academy's mascot due to her cute appearance. He knew he had to lose her before he can get to his job. Goku didn't want them to know his best techniques. At least not yet, before he can think about the offer. He remembered that there was a longer way to his work with many corners. As he increased his speed, the young girl was having trouble catching up to him. As turned at the last corner, he vanished. When he vanished, he lowered his power to non-existence. The girl looked around and simply left and reported her findings. Goku sighed, seeing that she left. Goku then left to his job at the cafe. Goku was already wearing his uniform for work and got started on his work. He did say hello to his boss, thought. As he was talking with some of the older women in the cafe, he couldn't help but see that cute glare of hers. As it turns out, it wasn't for him, it was for the woman talking with him. He thought that his boss would be different at times. Although he was weird himself. Being brought back from the dead and fighting space dictators. So in retrospect he was weird as her, but decided to not say anything. As the cafe was about to end, she wanted to say something when the customers left. As the last customer paid and left, both Lizette and Goku were all alone. Goku couldn't help but like his boss. She was innocent at times when seeing her. He would sometimes feel possessive of her when some of the male customers would give her lustful. Goku-kun, there is something that I must confess to you, said Lizette. What is it, Lizette-chan? Asked Goku. Lizette gained more blush on her face. It's that I really like you and was hoping to go a date with you sometime, asked Lizette. Goku had a noticeable blush on his face when hearing that. Goku nodded and Lizette gave a happy smile to him. Then Goku went wide-eyed of what happened next. Lizette gave him small kiss to the lips and pulled out of it before he can respond to it. Ah, Goku-kun, I almost forgot that I also need a favor from you, asked Lizette. Goku nodded in understanding. Lizette grabbed his hand and pulled him to the back of the cafe. And what he found was really interesting. And cute. There were two cats that were injured from what he can tell. One of them was pure white and had a red collar with violet eyes. The other has black fur and golden eyes. The weirdest thing was that this one had a witch hat on. I see what the favor is, you want me to look after them, right? Asked Goku. Lizette nodded in confirmation. Goku then stretched out his hand and both the cats give sniffs to his hand. The cats meowed, seeing that this young man doesn't give them any harm. They both ran up to his shoulders, with the one with white on his left and the one with black on his right. Both of the cats were nuzzling into neck with affection. Goku left, but Lizette hoped that Goku wouldn't freak out of what was going to happen with those cats. As Goku finally got to his apartment, the cats jumped off when Goku opened the door. As Goku went to get some leftovers for the cats went around getting used to the apartment. Goku came back and that he had leftover fish and meat. The cats had stars in their eyes when seeing the food. The one with white fur went to eat the meat, while the one with black hair was now eating the fish. The both of them were blissed seeing that the food was reheated well done. Goku sighed seeing that he wasn't prepared for this situation. He was hoping to eat the leftovers for himself. Goku saw the time and saw that it was time to go to sleep. As Goku left to his room, the two cats went to his room. The door wasn't closed all the way, so they managed to fit in. The two of them nodded and they both had exploded with smoke. The both of them changed their appearance to human-like. One of them had a buxom-like figure. She had dark purple hair in curls that resembled a cat's tail, having the witch hat as usual. And her golden eyes were shown in the dark with the moon in the background. She was wearing a black dress that can be considered revealing for some people. The other noticeable feature about her was she doesn't have human ears but cat. Purple cat ears. The other girl had a nice figure as well comparing to the other girl. She had long black hair in a ponytail with a couple bangs on her forehead to her hips. And has a hint of blue as well. She still has her purple eyes as well. While she is wearing a light blue yukata for sleepwear. Like the other young woman, she had cat ears as well, but in white. The both of them wondered how he would react tomorrow. They both hoped that he wouldn't react badly. "Do you think he would like us, Blair-san?" asked the one with the light blue yukata. "Of course, who wouldn't want us, right, Himura-san?" said the now named Blair. Himura nodded and they both got under the covers with Goku and went to sleep. As the sun began to rise, Goku had finally woken up. He felt more weight on his chest than usual. When he woke up, he was surprised to see two beautiful women on his chest. When he moved, the two came up from the covers and stretched a little bit. When they did, their breasts bounced a bit. Goku couldn't help but had a blush when see this. It must be that he is young again now. He will go through what was called puberty. He remembered this from his old teacher, Master Roshi. He was one of his best teachers in his life for his training. He hoped that he was happy whatever he's doing. Could you two please tell me who you girls are?" asked Goku. "Right then, my name is Blair. Nice to meet you, Goku-kun," said Blair. "And my name is Himura, Goku-sama," said Himura. Goku tilted his head that he couldn't remember who they are. "I'm sorry, can you remind me where I first meet you girls, and second, how did you get in here?" asked Goku. "That's easy, Goku-kun, we meet you yesterday at the cafe, and for the second one is the door was open," replied Blair. Then it clicked, he remembered the only other people that came in were the cats. "Wait a minute, you two are those cats, aren't you?" asked Goku in confirmation. They both nodded in confirmation. "So I got to ask, why did you call me Goku-sama?" Himura-chan asked Goku. She blushed when she heard that suffix in her name. "It's because I feel the need in my heart to serve you, my Goku-sama," replied Himura. "Okay, then another question I got to ask, what exactly you two are?" asked Goku. "I'm a cat with a lot of magic, although people mistake me for a witch due to my appearance," replied Blair sadly. Goku couldn't help but feel sorry for. So he made a promise after his date with Lizette he would make her feel better. He then turned to Himura's response. "When I first saw you at the cafe, you didn't notice me, but I did. Then I felt a glimpse of you, and from that glimpse I knew I was going to serve you. The reason is that it's tradition in my family. And also my family. Bake Nico Maying, we are cat demons," said Himura. Goku was interested when he heard that. So now he knows that demons and devils are not one in the same. He knew he was going to have an interesting life here in this universe. Goku went to check the time and saw that it was near to go to school. "Okay girls, I'll be going to school, do you two want to come along?" asked Goku. The both of them shared a look and they both had something else to share. "Actually, we already been registered to follow you," Blair confessed while Himura nodded. "Well, isn't that convenient, isn't?" said Goku. "Okay, I'll be waiting by the front door for you two, so why don't you two get dressed?" said Goku. They both nodded and they both went to the restroom to change. Goku was now outside and looked at the situation he was in. Now he faces problems with the devils. Now he has a date after school and now he has more girls after his heart. Now he knows what it is like to be actually noticed. As he turned around he saw that they were wearing the girls' uniform of the academy. Although they edited the uniform, instead of the usual white they add different colors. Himura was a feminine red while Blair was wearing a dark purple. Goku rose an eyebrow when seeing their uniform. "I thought you couldn't change the uniform," asked Goku. "They said we can, but it can only be the shirt," replied Himura. "Anyways, are you two ready, Himura-chan?" Blair-chan asked Goku with his usual sun smile. They both nodded with a blush and they wrapped their arms around his own. Blair on his right and Himura on his left. Both of them released that they are falling for him. As Goku makes his way to his new school he couldn't help remember the hardest challenges he's ever faced. Fighting his so-called brother, Raditz. The evil/good Saiyan Vegeta. The space monster and tyrant Frieza. And the monster with most of his famous techniques, Cell. And lastly the mythical monster known as Majin Buu. Each of them had pushed him to new heights for his fighting skills. There is one thing that he hasn't actually faced yet. And that is having girls to gain his affection. Usually Chi-Chi would take out the women from talking with him wherever he was at the mall. All his life he had his wife Chi-Chi and he was happy with her. She was a loving wife for him. Although at times he did fear her and her utensils. She gave him 2 sons that he loved. They made him proud of their achievements. Gohan for becoming a Super Saiyan 2 against the monster Cell. That with his potential released he was at one time would have surpassed him in fighting. Goten for being a little him as a young child. He even had a famous hairstyle too. He became a Super Saiyan 3 with the help of Trunks of course. But then he regretted many things when he was granted a body. They were both absorbed by that monster Majin Buu, Super Buu if you will. He had a plan to fuse with Gohan with the Potara earrings to stop him. But that beast absorbed his son and gained way too much power that he even a Super Saiyan 3 couldn't match up with. Then Vegeta came in and helped him to defeat the beast with their fusion as Vegeto. They were absorbed but they managed to escape. While he used a spirit bomb to destroy him. The next new challenges were affections. All he knew that women should be treated with respect. That was his grandfather had taught him. Not to mention his old master taught how to be observant with women at times. The girls were Lizette, Blair, and Himura. They each had their own backstories. Lizette owns a small maid cafe in the city. With him being the other worker here. But he did feel a mythical presence in the cafe. He made a mental note to ask her after the date. The next girl was Blair the magical cat. From what she told him earlier she was shunned for being mistaken for a witch wherever she met people. He was a sucker for sob stories from his gentle heart. His grandfather had told him that cheering up a girl was going on a date with them or something to cheer them up. So he was determined to take her on a date at some point. The last girl was Himura. She told him that she knew she was destined to serve him. The reason was she felt his power when he arrived in this dimension. He knew that Super Saiyans had a lot of energy. So he might as well be prepared for new women coming to him. Enough to destroy a planet, might he add. She told him that her family was like that. They find the strongest power level they find and become their servants. Goku thought that was kind of pointless. He thought that girls should look for their ones by spending time with them. But he knew he couldn't judge them too much. Otherwise he would be kind of like Frieza. Except the killing of innocents of course. Goku snapped out of his thoughts when he felt the tugging on his right sleeve. He turned and saw that Blair was trying to get his attention. "Goku-kun, where's your classroom?" asked Blair. Goku had took them to his classroom in the academy. While they had surprised looks on his face. "Oh Goku-sama, this is our classroom too, right Blair-san," said Himura. Blair nodded in confirmation too. Goku was surprised at the luck that the girls were going to be in his class. Okay Himura-chan, in public you have to call me by Goku-kun, would you please do that for me? While we're private you can call me how you usually do, so can you do that for me, asked Goku. Himura was glad that he wasn't trying to ignore her like she thought he was going to be in her thoughts. She nodded in understanding of his reasoning. Goku went in and sat down in his usual seats. Okay class, as of right now we are going to have new transfer students, said the teacher. The class was happy seeing that new students were coming. The boys were hoping that new beauties were coming. While hoping that there wasn't any new handsome boys like Goku or the prince, Kiba. The girls were hoping for handsome new boys like Goku and their prince Kiba. The boys were having perverted smiles when seeing the new girls. One of them looked like she was cosplaying as a cat due to her ears, while the other reminded them of thinking that she was an AIDS Hiko. Can anyone tell me the correct spelling of that word please? Overall they were ready to ask them out. Will the two of you please introduce yourself, asked the teacher. Blair went up first. Hi, my name is Blair, please take care of me, Naya, said Blair with a wink. The boys were now having hearts in their eyes. Blair went back in the front of the class. Himura went up now. She gave a formal bow and introduced herself. Hello, my name Himura, please take care of me as well, said Himura. The boys were fawning over her beauty. Okay girls, I want you to take a seat near Sun-kun. Can you raise your hand for me please, asked the teacher. Goku raised his hand and they sat near him, with Himura on his right and Blair right behind him. Okay then class, why don't we continue our lesson now, said the teacher. As class continued on, Goku felt a couple stares when trying to do notes of the lesson. Goku felt a loving stare from Himura on his right that reminded him of Chi-Chi. He turned around and saw that Blair was giving a seductive stare directed towards him. The boys were seething in anger at him, while Goku gained a serious look in his eyes and decided to scare them a little bit. He used Ki, killer intent, not the energy used in DBZ, in a form of a raging green Chinese dragon. Hint hint, and $5 to who gets it, not literally but you get it. When the boys saw that, they whimpered in fear of the dragon and decided to back down. The girls felt that they fell for him even more. The reason being, in their fantasies he was their knight in shiny armor to defend him even more. The teacher turned around, saw that the boys, with the exception of Goku, were whimpering at something. He ignored them and continued on with the lesson. Goku sighed in relief, seeing he didn't get in trouble like how he did. Goku then saw a paper airplane land in front of him. He opened the paper airplane and saw that it was from Blair-chan. He turned to her and saw her pointing at the note. So then he opened it and saw that was very interesting indeed. It said that she wants to cuddle during lunch. What was cute about it was drawings of him and her. They were kissing near a tree with her being on top of him, and saw that there was a kiss mark on it. He turned again, seeing she sent an air kiss towards his cheek. When he touched his cheek, it felt her lips were there. When nearby boys saw that, he envied and hated him to already getting the new girl in the class. He then saw another paper airplane that came out of nowhere, and he guessed that it couldn't be from Blair and thought it was from Himura-chan. Like Blair, she pointed at it for him to read it, and saw that it was him and Blair-chan and him at a wedding in cartoon form. From what he saw, she had a loving gaze directly at him. He overall didn't know what to think of his situation. First, he has women wanting attention from him. Not to mention he just barely met them. He thought it was really flattering that he was noticed by women without Chi-Chi interference. But he couldn't help but be frightening from the sudden affection. He wasn't really used to this. Usually the women he knew were Launch, Bulma, her mother, and Chi-Chi. Overall this problem would probably be problematic. Still, he knew the basic standards from his grandfather. That to treat with them respect and affection if you know them well. And if all else fails, either take her out on a date or marry her. The last option was if he was rather desperate for his standards. And as a Saiyan he was tough with his decisions. but he was open-minded with what the woman has a request for. Either in a dinner date or rather having relations with. He hoped it was being the first option though. He heard the bell ring, meaning the class was over. The boys feared that he would do the manifest again, and they ran like hell. The remaining people thought they were idiots and decided to go to the cafeteria, seeing how it's lunch. When he finally got his stuff ready, he was surprised that Blair-chan and Himari-chan were outside waiting for him patiently. The both of them wrapped their arms around like this morning. As they walked throughout campus, both boys and girls couldn't help but feel jealous. Reason for the boys is Goku still having the new girls, while the girls were the new girls already taking the so-called handsome king of Kaoru. After getting their food, they sat under the tree giving them shade. Goku being himself ate the food like a black hole. The girls were leaning towards his chest as a body pillow. The girls that saw this couldn't help but feel jealous of their luckiness. Some of the girls were actually perverted when it came to fantasying about Goku. One of them was one of the Oni-sama's Akeno. She licked her lips erotically, hoping she would spend time with him again. She continued to have dirty S&M thoughts in her head about him. Rias was somewhat perverted, but not as Akeno. She hoped that he would be her husband, seeing that she fantasizing him as her lover and husband. "Goku, can you look at me for a minute?" asked Blair. "Sure, what is it?" replied Goku. He was unprepared for what was going to happen. He was kissed by her and her tongue met his in his mouth. She was practically showing off to the whole campus about his relation with her. When the kiss was done, their saliva disconnected when she leaned out of his face. Himari was practically glaring at her for being ahead of her. Before he can comprehend what was going, he was kissed again. Not by Blair but with Himari. Her kisses were rather elegant. Where Blair has a lot of lust during the kiss. Now the girls around campus were sending death glares at them for kissing their king. Rias was practically ready to throw her mother's signature attack at them, while Akeno was having her signature lighting at them. Both knew that if they acted, it would practically do more hurt than good. So all they can do was to glare at them to death. Goku was practically lightheaded from the sudden kisses from the pair of cats, but to ask them why they did it public, then rather wait for after school. The afternoon bell rang, meaning that classes were to resume as scheduled. Rias and Akeno hoped that they could catch the attention of the young man, then those other women with him. Blair and Himari waved at their master/friend with benefits. Bet you readers $5 of who these personalities belong to. As soon as he saw them leave, he waved rather slowly, still trying to understand what happened. He got out of his thoughts, seeing he still has class to go to. After the last bell rang, he waited for the pair of cats in the front of the school. He heard rather fast running. He knew who these feet belonged to. Blair wrapped her arm around his right one to her breasts. Himari glared at her once again for still being ahead of her. Not wanting to be left out, she did the same thing, but to his left one to her own breasts. Goku was blushing, felling their melons. Although now he really thought about it, he doesn't really know the real term of their melons, so he needed to ask that too. When they were going home, they were approached by what to seem to be a cosplayer. He looked at the paper carefully and sensed that it has magic in it. They finally got home and was rather peacefully, thankfully, where he now lives. When he was going to check the time, it was near his time for his shift at Lizette-chan's cafe. He changed his school uniform with the butler outfit. Secretly he had his GI under it. He told them of where he has to go. They were saddened at first, but they understood. He didn't want to see them sad, so he had to do something for them. He told them if they wanted a date from him. Their eyes had sparkles in their eyes when he said that. Not to mention a getting smothered with kisses on his face. He left with a happy face and went to Lizette's cafe. He also forgot to take out the paper, but to him it didn't really matter, so he left it. When he got there, the cafe had a sign said closed, and tried to look for her. She found on a bench not too far from the cafe and had a light blush from what he saw. She was wearing a feminine blue t-shirt on with some white shorts. She had pink lip gloss on. She also had white sandals for footwear. He took off his uniform and instant transmitted back to his apartment. When he got back he saw that Blair and Himari were discussing something but didn't listen in on them. "Lizzie-chan, I hope I didn't keep you waiting too long," said Goku. She turned to him and saw he was wearing the GI when he first came to her. She had a mega blush when seeing him in that. Every time she saw she would always blush when seeing her blush. Being Goku he thought she had a cold. Lizzie-chan, are you okay?" asked Goku her in concern. Getting over thoughts she got rid of her blush. "Yes Goku-kun, I feel better, I wouldn't miss this for the world," replied Lizzie-chan. She wrapped her arm around his left to her breast. Goku had son. Grin and they went off. But in his thoughts he felt a dark presence that was following them and hoped it didn't ruin this date with Lizzie-chan. "Cower Academy, are you sure they attack him so soon?" Bucko remember with Issei's incident, asked Akeno in concern. "Yes, I'm sure that they would attack him today. My familiar had given him my contract, so hopefully I can have him as a pawn, then I can explain my reasoning," replied Rias. They both knew that the fallen angels were getting rid of potential sacred gear users, with Goku being one of them. Goku was having the best time he had in all time. Besides the fights he had over the years as he grew older, of course. He was glad he met Lizzie-chan when he came here. She was his first friend here in this new world. For him his friends are his precious people. But now she is his boyfriend as of right now. For him she is one of his precious people. It's how he thinks of all his friends in his life. He won't forget his previous friends from his original dimension. Especially his family. He knew he made the wrong choices in life. His son against Cell and the birth of his other son. He hoped that they could forgive him in other world. As of right now he was having fun with his girlfriend Lizzie-chan. She is his new girlfriend as of today now. They went shopping for new clothes for at a nearby mall. He protested but conceded when seeing her pout. He may be an adult, but he was a sucker for cute things. And his Lizzie-chan was one of them. He got new t-shirts and casual jeans. The shirts he got were his GI's red and blue. If he was going to get new clothes, it better be like his GI. He got to try them on and showed what he looked like. The women around him were looking at him with lust. His Lizzie-chan just glared them off, telling them that he was hers. Seeing the hint, they left him with his date. She also tried on some clothes and he blushed when he saw her. She attracted a lot of attention. Especially the male workers in the store. They were having daydreams about her. While the women were jealous of her figure. Goku gave the men a cold smile to the men. He enhanced it with his ki to scare them off. What the victims thought they saw was a green Chinese dragon ready to fire an energy wave at them while growling. Okay, if don't get the reference, you better look up an old crossover of DBZ then. They ran in fear of seeing the manifest from him. Afterwards he was carrying a lot of boxes of his girlfriend's clothes. Think of the Android 13 movie with Gohan after they get off the escalator. When they were almost back they felt an evil presence. For Lizzie it was evil for and got her so scared that she hugged her boyfriend's arm. For Goku it felt like ki, killer intent, was directed at him. When he continued to feel the ki, it had a hint of something like holy. Then he remembered what Rhea said about certain angels. That they fallen from grace and became fallen angels. What do they want with him? That's when it hit him, maybe they think he has want was it called again. Sacred gear, I know you're there, why don't you show yourself, fallen angel, said Goku out loud. So then you know I was watching you from the beginning then, said a man's voice. The man came out of the shadows. He was a middle man while wearing a white dress shirt, a pale violet trench coat, an ascot, black dress shoes. While he also wore a black fedora. Okay, who can tell me who's going to die? Goku knew he could handle him but decided to act weaker, so he wanted to know what Blair-chan and Himari-chan can do. So put the clothes near him so they won't get exploded or something that might happen. Lizzie-chan, I'm going to stall him as long as I can, So get Blair-chan and Himura-chan, said Goku. Lizard ran Shikud back to the apartment. He turned around to see him with black feathered wings and a spear of sorts. So do you know why I'm here, human? Said the man. No, from the wings I can guess that you are a fallen angel, right? Replied Goku. Yes, my leader gave me orders that you must die before you realize what you may have, said the man. Goku felt that Blair-chan and Himura-chan were near, so he didn't move. While the fallen angel thought he froze with fear, he was dead wrong. A blur had cut his spear and saw who it was. It was a woman that was dressed from the nearby academy with a different t-shirt while having a katana. He also saw another woman, but she had noticeable cat ears. He can guess that she was from the demon cats from the underworld. Goku-sama, are you okay? Asked Himura in concern. Yeah, I'm okay, don't worry about me. He then felt Blair glomped him. Are you okay, my Goku-kun? Asked Blair while she rubbed her cheek against his. Annie, Himura-chan, if you want to impress me, why you don't try to defeat that fallen angel over for me, please, said Goku, pointing out the fallen angel. By your order, Goku-sama, replied Himura. Himura prepared her sword and striked. The fallen angel made another light spear to defend himself. He had used his spear as a sword which he barely stand from her. For him, he was a ranged fighter with his spears with very little experience with any swordsmanship. And this woman wasn't allowing him to throw his spears. Goku turned to see Blair pouting to him. He saw the hint she was giving. He sighed and gave in to her request. Blair gave a happy yell, seeing the opportunity to show off to her Goku-kun. Blair summoned a pumpkin and she sat on it and gave range to support for Himura. She cast pumpkin theme attacks. Himura saw this, was glad they practiced their tag team attacks. Goku was impressed from what he saw, their impressed teamwork. He knew that with their teamwork they can beat the fallen angel. With a final sweep of her sword, Himura had defeated the fallen angel. The fallen angel was growling at what was happening. The report said that he was easy to kill like the other sacred year user. The pair was talking so much they didn't notice him throwing the light spears at them. He hadn't used Kaioken in a long time, but he already mastered the technique. Himura and Blair turned and saw that Goku-kun/Sama had a red aura around him protecting him. The spear had grazed his left arm and a spat of blood was on his hand. You attacked my friends and I won't let you get away with this, yelled Goku. With rage at the angel, he turned Super Saiyan. Both Blair and Himura were jaw-dropped. How could their Goku-kun/Sama turned blonde and have blue eyes? Afterwards they were going to ask many questions. The fallen angel was shivering in fear seeing this human transform. With a burst of speed he put a right jab in his stomach. The fallen angel coughed up blood. There's many things I can stand, but attacking my friends. That was the last straw, said Goku in a cold voice. Goku cupped his hands to his right side and said the words that sprang fear into his enemies' hearts. Ha, me. Seeing the opportunity, the angel gather energy as many as he can and flew away. Goku was prepared where he was going. He threw his hands forward and a large blue beam and killed the fallen angel. With a sigh he powered down and turned to see not only Blair-chan, Himura-chan, and Lizard-chan jaw-dropped, but also Rias and Akeno jaw-dropped as well from the display of power. With his sun grin he looked sheepish. Ma, it seems I got a lot of explain to do, huh? Said Goku. They barely moved their heads from the power they've just witnessed. Okay girls, I need you to touch my shoulders really quick, said Goku. They did so and they left back to the club's rooms. When they were there, the other two people were Yuuto, Issei and Konako. They were surprised to see their Bucko and Akeno back rather quickly.